Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It is your host, Kory Franklin, and my co-host in esteemed colleague, Nicole Cooper. Don't ask for James; he's not here today, so we're taking over. We're just gonna take over the whole channel for today. Give you guys some good information, have fun as we normally do, right? So on today, we just want to go through some tax-related tax season topics, right? And just kind of give you guys, the season, what the season brings in terms of concerns and issues, and just give you some bullet points. And we do have our expert opinion here on the call as well. So we're going to be throwing some topics, throwing some ideas, answering some questions as well. So I'd like to introduce Nicole Cooper. Nicole, welcome to co-hosting with me for today. And please introduce yourself.
My name is Nicole Cooper. I have many titles here at Heyward CPA, but one of them I do know is I am a trusted source here as far as working directly with our client support team, as well as handling our tax clients and accounting clients. A little bit of my back history is I worked in corporate accounting now for about close to 30 years. I've been working in this field for about 15 or 20, and that was in corporate. And the remainder, I pretty much have been contracting. And now I've been here at Heyward CPA now for quite some time. I'm honored to be on the broadcast today.
Nice. Well, this won't be your only time. We'll hop and get you back in throughout our
Right.
season of adventures, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, I mean, again, just opening up to a little bit more about our team and our collective and how we do things. Again, this is Saturday talk, right? So what we try to do is no scripting here. We just try to keep it simple for everyone in the world, especially the ones that are listening, right? They do
Right.
come back and watch our videos, and hopefully our information is very helpful for you. This gives us the opportunity to kind of blow off some of that Monday through Friday tax season heavy lifting that we do, right? So I guess we could kind of just touch on what I like to do, Nicole, is just kind of give like an overview of some of the tax season. What's the heat, the concerns, the anxiety, the angst, like what is tax season essentially?
Well, mostly I would have to say it's not something that people look forward to. I think that the expectation, well, let me just get this over with. And one of the main things is, am I going to owe anything? Am I going to owe? Am I going to break even? And it's like, most just trying to get through that part of it. I would have to say the anxiety would have to be a million things. If you're uncertain about where you stand as far as your tax status, as far as just trying to figure out just what your outcome is going to be. And that's always on someone's mind. And you think about that because I heard you guys speak on the podcast. But the thing is, what we try to encourage the clients is to let go of the anxiety if possible, because when you come to a professional, it's our job to pretty much take on that, alleviate you from the pain, alleviate you from your question.
Right.
That's why people come to a professional, to be able to handle that on your behalf, because we should hold the solutions to your problems and make it at ease so that you feel like, oh gosh, I've finally given this over to someone to help handle it, or to help assist the person. So the anxiety comes into play if someone's out there trying to tackle this on their own. That's part of the anxiety. If they've been preparing their tax returns, then they're pretty much open to that and they know what they're doing. Right now, what's going on, there's a lot of tax laws that are changing. It's a lot of things that have been, with the assistance of the COVID-19, different type of bills that came through. And also looking at the fact that, the economy and different things that people are taking into account, especially now with money not going as far as they will probably hope it would be. So anything that's coming up with finances, anything that's coming around along the lines, you're talking about money, that's going to be a comfortable conversation,
Absolutely.
but it's a necessary conversation because
Right.
before, even if it's not the outcome that you're looking for, at least you know where you stand. At least you know where you are.
And
And
that's a
you
good
can
point that
plan
you
from
bring
this
up.
point going forward. So
Hmm.
I would have to say it's that because no one looks forward to it. No one looks forward to dealing with what they say the IRS or dealing with that. But that's what we have. That's what we need to do. And I just think it's the expectation to alleviate a lot of the anxiety. That's where it's coming from.
Okay.
If you're dealing with that at first, because no, they're not looking. No one's looking forward to it. But we know it's something that we have to do. It's
Right.
required for us to file our taxes annually, and just prepare for it, and make sure that you're doing that.
Nice, nice, nice. So to wrap, kind of put that a bow around it, I should say, is really just, as Nicole stated, understanding, right? Like understanding, it's about understanding where you are, irregardless of, and there's no need for the fear to kind of close you off from taking a step forward to learning about where you are, where you need to go.
Just
And
a minute, Kory. You getting a lot of feedback on the back end.
yeah, so it's the anxiety is there. Just understanding where you are, asking the questions and then allowing a professional, because one of the things that we go through during tax, well, all year round, not just tax season. I think most people think we're like
Hmm.
3 or 4 months in and then we close the door and we go on our way, right? And not the
Right.
case. And as you mentioned, the tax codes do change, so it's a lot of looking at the tax codes, how it relates to each situation. And I think most people think, okay, well, if I fall into this bracket of this tax code, then I should be able to apply for this like everyone else. And that's not really the case. There are standards, but then there's case by case. Would you agree?
Exactly. It is case by case. Everyone's situation is different. So a lot of times when as far as you're talking about deductions, so to speak, one of the main deductions I saw from last year was a lot of people, and then the information you're pulling from. You know what I mean? Because just because the information coming, oh, you should be able to deduct this from your business and do this from your business. And guess what? You will have no tax liability. Well, it depends on each situation and what source of information you are receiving, and make sure you verify that, because a lot of
Hmm.
times what we see is we have a lot of information out here, whether it's coming from the media and what people are actually informing people in these workshops and everything else, but you want to make sure that it actually does line up with the tax laws and what it applies to when it comes to you and your income and what you're actually reporting, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for what you are reporting. You know what I mean? And you have to make sure that you not just have documentation, but that you are actively, actually, if you're promoting and stating that you have a business, make sure that you are actually do have an active business. It's not a case of the IRS coming after anyone. It's a case of validation and whether or not you are able to validly prove whatever income and deductions you are reporting for that year. We as the tax professionals are going through everything that you have and trying to make sure that you are able, for what your particular tax situation is, to benefit the most off the deductions that you are able to take validly. You know what
Hold
I
on,
mean?
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on a second. Wait a minute. That's you just dropping a lot of jewels and gems. Does everyone have their notebooks ready? Does everyone have the notes app on their phone and taking notes? Take notes. This is real live information that we're giving you, and hopefully it can help. We're into February 10th. We're still in the beginning phases of this epic time of the season, right? So go ahead, Nicole, continue. Hopefully everyone got their pen and paper now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about, when I'm talking about just very high level when it comes to businesses, Schedule C filers in particular, just using as an example, do know that whatever deductions that you have, it depends upon the percentage of your activity with that business. And so what it is, one big thing that kept coming up was Section 179 and deduction of vehicles. And you have to understand that a lot of these, if you are actually active in your business and the vehicle that you're using is for your business, then do know that you can't state it's 100% deduction for a business and you have gone out here and purchased a Range Rover and you only participate probably about 50 or 40% of it. I'm not knocking what type of vehicle you're purchasing, but what I'm stating is you may receive some type of deduction, but make sure that whatever you're purchasing and whatever you're using is something valid and something that you're actually doing within the business that's benefiting your business.
Justifiable.
Not
Correct.
something that we're going and we're saying, oh, well, if you're buying luxury vehicles and your business has nothing to do with transportation, just make sure that, if this is a vehicle that you honestly purchased for yourself and you're using it for the business, then do know that if you are a W-2 wager earner and you have a business, there's no way that you're operating that business 100% of the time. You're going to be operating that business maybe 50% of the time or less, depending on what you are doing. And do know that you have to prove that. So in other words, if your expenses, you're not going to get 100% deduction from your business expenses. It's going to be based upon the percentage of business that you are actually actively participating in that business. And this is not knocking anyone about far as what you're doing, what you choose to purchase. It's just a matter of the validity. It's a matter of transparency. It's a matter of, we have to understand that the IRS is not, in my opinion, they're not targeting. It's just certain deductions and certain red hot items that's on the list. And depending upon your income for that year and what it is you're trying to deduct, do know, for example, if your business has been in operations for 3 years, and let's say you haven't really had any income and you've been taking a loss, do know at that point you have to examine whether or not this is still a valid business or whether this is a hobby. Because if you're just carrying just some expenses and some losses and then purchase a vehicle, and after about 3 or 5 years, you're going to have to really take into account whether or not you really do still have a valid business or whether you possibly need to pivot to something else or any other type of thing that you may necessarily consider, because that's what they're going to be looking at. What is your activity in this? Because I know everyone's looking for valid deductions and be able to take those deductions, rightfully so. But just make sure that we first, number one, I would say, if you want to get rid of anxiety, number one, let's be honest with ourselves and because that will alleviate a whole lot. And we saw that with COVID-19 when you see all the articles that came out, because the IRS is going through every last one of those applications when people apply for that funding.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we finding? There are people who have EIN, still have active EIN numbers, but the businesses are not even active.
Correct.
So they went out and applied for this money, generated financials that are people who came out the woodwork saying, oh, we can help assist you apply for these applications and get the PPP loan. That's what it was, and everything else. And guess what? Those people who went and helped them apply for those applications are nowhere to be found. But your name is on it, your EIN name on it, and the deposit hits your bank account. And guess what? Over a certain amount, the IRS is going through. They may not be able to go through everyone, but those who were pinpointed, guess what? They're going to go back through that. And that the hardest part about that, Kory, would have to be, think about how many businesses are actually valid small businesses out here who are trying to survive through COVID-19 to now, who tried to apply for that funding. And because of the bad apples, guess what?
They didn't get it.
Not only that, they flagged it. And then it's like people who validly need that funding, guess what? They're not able to get it. Correct. They're not able. They're having to, and there are legitimate businesses out here. And so the thing about it is it worth it? It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. There's nothing that you're going to be able to apply for when it comes to SBA, when it comes to the IRS, coming anything, because they're going to go back and you're going to have to file your returns to validate your income, to validate all these things. So the main thing I would have to say, Kory, that also alleviates anxiety is we just have to have character and integrity about what we're doing. Whether you file your individual returns or whether you file your business return. Let's just report whatever income that you have. Report it. Whatever it is. And a lot of times we try to think ahead of what we can and cannot do. And I don't knock any of it. It's just that we have to make sure, ask the questions, ask us the questions, press us on those. We're totally here for it in order for us to validate or confirm the accuracy of what we're doing. But I think a lot of times, we're out here filing some things, and I know that the IRS is really gearing towards a pilot program right now that they actually have going where You heard about them actually being able to offer an online system where some people will be able to go on and file their returns themselves. Also, keep in mind that we have ideas about what we feel we should be doing and should not be reporting or how it is. And I just honestly say, if it's a matter of getting the extra education that you need, it's valid. You can do that. IRS offers workshops that are free, webinars all through the year, not just for us as tax professionals, but for taxpayers as well to educate. I always tell people as well, they have local tax offices to be able to ask questions for the IRS agents that are local near you, as well as your state offices have state revenue people, agents there that are able to answer your questions. And I know it's not a matter of you call them and people think that you put a red light on yourself and think they're gonna track you down with something. That's not that's not what they do. I mean, it's just a matter of just making sure. And do know that if you do owe, that's the main thing about owing. If you owe, do know that the IRS will work with you. There are options as far as you paying back whatever, if you find that you do owe. Do know that you have various plans that they will work with you on that.